before I give that answer, I'd like to say just briefly what I understand, or what is generally understood under the term humanities. These are academic disciplines that ask the so-called big questions. How do we understand, in general, the place of humankind, but also in particular how each individual understands him or herself in the world. So they include such disciplines as literature, philosophy, history, linguistics, religion, art, and so on and so forth. More importantly than what they are taxonomically, these disciplines help us make sense of values, meaning, and purpose in our lives, right? So why are these important? Well, part of it, the answer is obvious, right? We have to know who we are, why we're here, and where should we go from here onwards. That's why I think they're important for anything in life, but in particular for organizations and societies, especially business organizations. I think they have a lot to teach us in very practical ways. The answer is going to vary, I think, depending where you are and when you are, as it were, right? But still, some answers, some general tendencies can be isolated. Most importantly, for business school students, I'll focus primarily on business school students in this answer. I think the most important thing is understanding the history of business and how we got here, what worked and what didn't work in the past, what were the successes, what were the failures, what accounted for those, and just a very humanistic, historical understanding of how business even came about, contemporary business. So, and from that, other more philosophical, first principle kind of answers. I would put emphasis on history first. I'm not quite sure that they do, or not all of them. It's not quite obvious that they do. They certainly should, in my opinion. Well, the way I think about that question is, as a leader of a company, as a CEO, hiring manager, who would you want to hire? What kind of person would you want to hire? You certainly would consider wanting to hire someone certainly more knowledgeable, better informed than others, but also hopefully someone that you could say is wiser, or perhaps has a deeper understanding of his place in the organization and society, is more humane, we could say. And I think humanistic learning can help them, can help a person, a prospective employee, future leader, gain a wider appreciation of his or her role, not just in that particular company, but industry and society. They can be a better team player, better employee, people who are educated humanistically. They can also learn when they're thrown in different situations. They can quickly adjust much more quicker to new challenges than perhaps others. Well, it's both complex and a simple answer. A complex one, I think part of it has to do with this acquainting yourself with the history of your own firm, your own industry, history of business in general, history of the larger philosophical underpinnings of their profession, but also, I would say, perhaps more simply, and this might seem in contradiction to what I was saying before, to be a good ethical leader, it really means to listen to your conscience. Listen to your conscience and you'll know what to do. Now, that almost sounds like, oh, what about all this humanistic learning, and isn't that in tension with just kind of follow your conscience? Well, not necessarily. Your conscience is formed throughout your life, by your society, by your families, by your teachers, educators, peers. So the two are not necessarily in question. If you have a good formed conscience, well-formed conscience, you will not have problems.